Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Intersection of Jesus and Culture. I'm your host, Mel Flanagan, and I look forward to speaking with you about the many different ways that we can see and experience Jesus in the world we live in. Here at the Intersection, it's all about learning how to tune out eye gates and our ear gates to be able to see and experience Jesus everywhere. And guys, today is no different. So if you guys been here for a while, or if you're just joining today, welcome. I encourage you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. So that way you don't miss any other videos along with this one and videos in the past. You can check all of those out there as well. But if you guys know me, you know that mental health is something that is near and dear to my heart. I often talk about it a lot here on the Intersection of Jesus and Culture. In May, we did a whole series about mental health and lyrics, and basically how just as a car has engine lights and all of these other kinds of indicator lights, we also have those lights as well in our mental health that we need to pay attention to. But I couldn't pass, when June came, I had every intention on talking about men's mental health awareness month because that's what June is. However, I was a little under the weather, but today I'm going to talk about it. So, guys, did you know, on a serious note, I know I crack a lot of jokes here, but on a serious note, men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide. Which is why this topic is so serious and it's something that we should address. You may be like, "Oh, Mel, you talking about men's mental health? Girl, you're a girl. What you know about that?" I know a lot as a wife of 28 years, and also as a mother of a grown man. I've seen things as well, but also just living life. You've seen things. Culturally speaking, in many cultures, we've seen as when kids were so small that they were told, "Hey, you know what? You can't cry. When you cry, that's a sign of weakness. Or you acting like a little girl. Or man up, suck it up. Shake it off. Don't share your emotions. Shut up. Don't speak unless spoken to, right?" If that goes on time after time after time after time, it actually develops into this tough exterior that the child gets when they're a man. Well, often they camouflage all these emotions that they have and they slap a good old band-aid on top of it and basically say, "I'm good, I'm cool, I'm chill," every time somebody asks how they doing, when inwardly they are suffering deep down inside from all of these unprocessed emotions that they never really had a chance to verbalize, right? Which can often lead to them shutting down in relationships or even becoming emotionally unavailable. Your significant other could be there crying and they need you, or your kids need you. "Daddy, I need you. I'm going through this, that, and the other. And my world is shattered and I need my dad." And you can't even be present because you were never taught that way. You had to toughen it up, right? Or it may lead to you overworking. "Oh, I got to be a provider. I got to be strong. I got to do this. I got to do that. I'm working. That you don't pay attention to what's going on at home, right? It can often lead to addictions like alcohol, drugs, gambling, porn, and many others just to cope with those emotions, right? Guys, I feel like this topic is so important to address because I feel like a lot of our homes, men are struggling with mental health, and because they don't have an outlet, they are the leaders of our family. If the enemy can get to the leader of the household, he can get the household. So that's why this topic is so important. I went off my notes, but let me get right back on it, right? Basically, I can go on and on and on, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. Basically, guys, we got to drop this tough exterior. We have to drop this "I'm a man" exterior. Real men show emotions. Get that part, right? Guys, your significant others, as well as your kids, they need you not just to be physically there. Being physically there is great, but they also need you emotionally present as well, as I mentioned in my examples a few moments ago. And guys, if you're listening, I want you to know that showing emotions and expressing your feelings is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. And guys, guess what? It's not abnormal to show your emotions. One of the things about me, I love reading the Bible. And one of the things I love reading about it is that it's because it normalizes many emotional struggles, right? And it shows that even the strongest of men of faith, the greats, the ones that we heard about time after time again, people like David, who was known as a man after God's own heart. David struggled. He struggled from depression, fear, feeling abandoned, rejected. I mean, when Samuel was looking for a king out of his father's kids, Jesse basically named all his other sons. I didn't even think about David. So just the amount of rejection that David probably felt, right? That's another conversation for another day. But if you guys just read Psalm 22, you can see in this psalm that David is so raw with his emotions, right? He's crying out to God. He's transparent with his feelings. But also in the midst of the pain and the anguish and the hurt, you see that David turns his focus and his trust to God, right? Or take Elijah, right? You know, that great prophet Elijah, right? In 1 Kings 1:19, Elijah had, he was on the run. He was running from Jezebel and all her goons, right? Because he pissed them off in chapter 18. And you may be like, "Ooh, she said pissed." Sorry. But yes, he made her mad. And so basically she wanted nothing more than to be done with Elijah. So he was on the run. And when he was on the run, he was facing suicidal ideations. And so he was pretty much basically ready to throw in the towel, like, "God, look, I'm done. I check out, God, I check out." But instead of being done, it was there that God met him, right? He strengthened him in that moment, right? Or take, for instance, Job, right? Job did nothing wrong, right? However, he experienced an immense amount of grief. I'm talking about losing 10 kids one day, one event, boom, gone, right? He was attacked physically in his health. And he had all of his friends. Yeah, they came around. You would have thought, like, when people die, okay, your friends come around and comfort you. No, they came around. They were accusing him, like, you had to do something to deserve this. Like, God ain't take all this away from you for nothing. You did something, right? Job didn't do anything, right? But instead of listening and succumbing or arguing that he was right to his friends, he took the matter straight to God. He prayed about it, right? He was raw with his feelings, right? Or take Moses. You know, Moses, he led the Israelites out of Egypt, right? They were in bondage for years. And Moses led them out in a miraculous way, you know, and he's in the wilderness with them, right? And through the whole time they were in the wilderness, which was 40 years, they did nothing but complain and grumble about everything. I mean, everything that God was providing for them, they didn't even have to hunt for food. Food was given to them every day, and they grumbled, they complained against God, they complained against Moses. Moses pretty much was like, "Look, I am done. I have so much stuff." He was overwhelmed with the stress, with the grief. You know, he was constantly pleading and interceding on their behalf. And they didn't deserve it, but he was doing it because of his love for them. He was pleading with God, "God, don't take them out." Like, I know they foul. I know they ratchet right now. Like, God, please, like, have compassion on them. Don't say, or they'll say, "Hey, he brought them all the way out here in the wilderness to do this," right? So Moses interceded for them. But in Numbers chapter 11, verses 14 and 15, we see Moses had a moment of weakness. You know, he's about to throw in a towel. He was like, "I'm done. Like, did I ask to be the leader of all these people? Did I ask all of these things, God?" He took all his frustrations to God, and he's like having a one-on-one, like, "God, look, you got to do something here, because I didn't ask for all of this, but I'm in it," right? And guys, and even the cornerstone of our faith, Jesus, yes, Jesus, he experienced emotional turmoil when he was on the cross. You know, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Right? Me. Jesus was God in human form. Why have you forsaken me? He took the matter directly to God, right? Not to all of those standing around. He had people around him that was weeping. He had people around him that was mocking him, that wanted nothing more than to see him gone. But he took the matter straight to God, right? Now, guys, the Bible refutes the idea of hiding emotion as a sign of strength. And it encourages us to be vulnerable. It encourages us to rest and to seek God, as in the examples that I provided for you. In addition to seeking God, these men also, in most cases, God provided community to be there for them as well. Too often when we're going through things, or especially for men, too often when you are going through things, you may have friends around you. However, you may not feel comfortable bearing your soul to them, because they may be still stuck in the stigma that, "Oh, here he come complaining, he go on and again. Oh, he always got something going on, right? Woe is me," right? You don't want to appear to be the Eeyore spirit, right? So a lot of times you're like, "Oh man, I'm good, I'm cool, I'm chill, what's up, yo?" Like, you know, everything good. But guys, we need to have community. God put us in community, right? You have these friends. I would say pray and ask God, "Okay, God, which one of these friends can I be vulnerable with? Can I really tell what's really going on with me," right? Guys, I'm in the Bible. God, as he's creating things in Genesis, 1 and 2, and he's creating things like, "Oh, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good." He created Adam. This ain't good. Let me create Eve, a helper for him. when he created Adam and Eve, oh, it's very good, right? When we are in community, it's good. Like the enemy can't stand against that, right? I hope I didn't jump the gun with my notes, but we'll see. So let me get back to it. Basically, guys, if you are a man struggling with mental health, might I suggest the following? Number one, pray. Pray, seek God, right? 1 Peter 5:7 says to cast everything, all your cares on him because he cares for you. Number two, I would suggest is break the cycle of isolation, right? A lot of times when we're going through, we tend to, I don't want to bother nobody with my problems, so I'm going to just deal with it on my own. But no, don't. Because it's when you're dealing with it alone, is when the devil isolates you. When he sneaks in, he sifts you, right? He would love nothing more than to separate you. He would love nothing more than to say, hey, you know what? They don't care about you. Keep it to yourself, right? Guys, that's a lie from the pit of hell. We got to fight that urge to separate. Fight the urge to isolate, right? God put us on earth together, as I just mentioned. Like I said, I think I jumped my notes, but I'm sorry. As Ephesians 4, verses 9 and 10 says, two are better than one. Hiding our struggles often worsens our mental health. Not helps it. It worsens it, right? Confess your burdens to trusted friends and accountability partners so that they can lift you up, right? Number 3, take your thoughts captive. You're like, what's captive, right? Prisoner, take them hostage, right? 2 Corinthians 10:5 instructs believers to take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. So this happens through the process of reframing our negative thoughts for positive thoughts, right? Basically, reframing the negative things with God's word is what I would suggest. So things like, I'm unwanted. Nope. 1 Peter 2:1-9 says that I am chosen. Nobody loves me. I am weird. I'm a weirdo. Well, Psalms 139 says that you were uniquely made, that you were fearfully and wonderfully made, right? That God knew you before your mother knew you. He knew you in the womb, right? Things like that, reminding yourself of his promises, right? So basically, actively replace lies, feelings of worthlessness, failure with God's truth, right? The next thing I would suggest is address the root of anger, right? The Bible does not condemn anger. Even Jesus flipped tables, right? But he didn't stay there, right? It says that, basically it warns against when we let it fester, when we hold on to it, we won't let it go. That's what leads to sin. And Ephesians 4:26 says, basically to tell men to process, well, not men, just everybody, process your anger quickly. Just figure it out, get over it quickly, right? You can let it out, all right? Keep it moving, right? Explore what lies beneath the surface. A lot of times it is often unacknowledged fear, sadness, or shame, right? A person could say something to you. It could be like, the sky's great. What do you mean the sky's great, right? Where all that anger come from? Ask the questions. What are they really saying to me? Are they really trying to hurt me? Consider the source where it's coming from, right? All of these things can help us better understand before responding to anger, right? The next thing I would suggest is to give your anxieties to God. Instead of trying to carry the whole weight of the world on yourself, keeping it all stuffed in, Philippians 4:6-7 tells us to basically turn our worries into prayer and petition with thanksgiving, right? It also tells us to throw your burdens to God. Put them on God's shoulder because he cares for us. Like as I said in 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your cares on him. Again, the next thing I would say, manage physical and emotional rest, right? In 1 Kings 1:19, we see Elijah was exhausted. He was deeply depressed. He was ready to throw in the towel. And when he prayed and cried out to God and asked God to be done away with him, to just get rid of him right now, God didn't immediately give him a sermon. Guys, God didn't immediately say, all right, now go. I'm here. Go. No, the first thing God did was provide food. He provided water. He provided sleep or rest, as I would like to say, right? Prioritizing physical rest, a Sabbath, which is a day of rest, right? Where you do nothing work-related. You could just sit and watch sports, video games. You can read your word. Just a day of rest. I always think of that airline speech, the stewardess speech, if this thing going down, put the oxygen mask on yourself because guess what? You can't save anybody else if you don't have oxygen. So you got to put the oxygen on yourself first. Take care of yourself, right? Rest, abide, be in God's presence. Allow yourself to just sit there, right? Not to feel like you got to do this, that, and the other. Let the worries of the world melt away. And the last thing I would suggest is to seek wise counsel. So guys, as I mentioned before, I'm a proponent of Jesus and therapy. Jesus all day, every day. Therapy when you need it, right? Therapists are trained with tools to be able to help you to be able to cope with mental health, but also to help you moving forward. Okay, I feel this anxiety coming on again. Oh, well, let me figure out. Do I got a journal? Do I got to figure this out? Do I need to do a brain dump? All different kinds of things they are trained with, right? Proverbs 22:3 says that the prudent sees danger and they hide themselves. So basically, it's like if you see a crisis coming on and you're like, oh, stuff it, right? I mean, no, wrong part. That's the second part of it. So sorry. It's like basically you see danger coming on. You say, you know what? Let me go seek covering. Let me go get in God's presence. Let me go seek advice from a friend, right? That's what that means. It says, but the simple go on and suffer for it. So when we stuff it, when we act like, oh, it ain't there. Yeah, I know I'm responding a little bit short lately, but there ain't nothing. We're going to suffer for it in the long run because it's going to continue to fester, continue to grow, and continue to get out of control, right? We got to check it. Seeking out a Christian therapist, a counselor, or a pastor is contagious. It's a faithful and contagious, not contagious, courageous. Woo, me and my eyes. Seeking a counselor or pastor is courageous, and it's a faithful step towards the healing and the stewardship of your mind. Guys, with that being said, we have reached the end of another episode of the Intersection of Jesus and Culture podcast. As with the end of every episode, I always have a B statement, and today is no different. So today's B statement is, you ready? Be vulnerable. Get in community, right? Guys, don't feel like you have to hold it all in. You have to keep that Band-Aid. No. Unmask, unveil. I'm telling you, you'll notice that you'll start feeling a lot better. You'll feel a lot lighter for one, right? If you don't have godly community, because you can't just talk to anybody, right? You don't want to talk to somebody that's going through it as well, that's going to have you continuing to go down that spiral. No. Pray and ask God for wise counsel. God, send me godly community, right? If you are in church, join a small group with men. Like, y'all can walk through this thing called life together, right? Or just, pray God, ask, okay, God, I have all of these friends. This is my friend group. Who out of this group can I be vulnerable with, right? Just be open. Guys, with that being said, we've reached the end of another episode of the Intersection of Jesus and Culture podcast. Hope to see you guys soon. Alrighty now. Bye-bye.